I'm Harrison Graham. You're watching NBA Now, a By Chat Sports, and it is mailbag time. So if you have a question, now's the time to load it up. Hashtag NBA or use the Super Chat feature to get your questions answered on the show. Shout out to Yo Boy One as producer Jeff Cooperstein hops in here as well. Can the Mavs get Jarrett Allen? Coop, obviously, they swung and missed on Matisse Thybulle, but they've been linked to trying to upgrade at center for a long time now. Mark Stein has continued to double down on that notion.
Yeah, I think Jarrett Allen's a possibility for the Mavs. I don't know if Cleveland wants to give up on him so quickly, but I love Allen, the player, for the Mavs as well. They need an upgrade at center. They got Rashawn Holmes in the trade with Sacramento, but they would still like someone to be a little more formidable in that front court.
Yeah, I completely agree. And Allen, out of all the centers connected to trade buzz, unless you want to consider Miles Turner, he might be the guy I'm most interested in, to be completely honest. So I would like that quite a bit. Shout out GM Evan Hinders. Appreciate you sending us the cards, my friend. Minnesota should sign Ayo Dosunmu if Chicago can't keep him. I like Ayo. Had a really good rookie year. Last year he averaged similar points, but the jump shot kind of wavered. He went from a 38% three-point guy to 31. If he could be a mid-30s guy with his defensive intensity, he's still only 2 years into the league, so I'm a big fan of him. Now, Minnesota's pretty deep at guard, so I'm not sure they would be the team to go that route, but as a restricted free agent, I'm fascinated to see where he ends up. From Rogue Brothers, top 5 teams that could trade for Zubac. I mean, I think the Mavs have to be on there. I'll throw the Spurs on there if they want to get like another center like to play alongside Wembanyama. They have Zach Collins, but I think Zubac would be an upgrade there. Could a team like I don't know who else would make sense for him, to be completely honest. The Knicks are pretty set with Robinson and Hartenstein, so I think Dallas continues to be a team that clearly is searching for a center. If Phoenix dumps DeAndre Ayton and they want to get a different center, Zubac could be interesting if they could make the money work. JJ Hackett, when is Damian Lillard going to be traded? It's a good question. I could really see this being like the Donovan Mitchell situation last year where this thing gets dragged out. I'm just going to look. When did Donovan Mitchell get traded? It was September 3rd. So, I mean, that would be 2 more months of this. I don't know if it'll go that long, but I would not be surprised at all if this dipped into the month of August. I definitely think that this could drag out. Dame only wants Miami. Portland wants to get the best offer available. We'll see. I could see this taking several weeks. Let us know, where will Damian Lillard play next? If you think it will be the Miami Heat, type H for Heat. If you think it's going to be elsewhere, type O for Other. Drop a letter in the comments. Don't panic, RS. Can you see a world where the Celtics pick up Grant from the Blazers? I know his contract is a lot, but if you give up Pritchard along with some other guys and some picks without giving up Jaylen Brown. If you're making a trade with the Blazers, aren't you going to get Damian Lillard? Like, sure, Jerami Grant helps you, but I actually think once he signs that deal, he can't be traded for a little while. So that's number one. So I don't think Jerami Grant to Boston's even that realistic of a possibility. Ronald Bunting, what's up with the possibility of adding OG Anunoby and DeRozan to the Knicks, and would it work? I don't know if you can do both. OG makes, I think, around $19 million a year. DeRozan's at 28. I think for either of those trades, you're probably looking at an RJ Barrett swap of some sort. I mean, does RJ Barrett and 1 first plus some kind of salary match for DeRozan, is that something the Knicks want to do? That could be interesting. For OG, I mean, do you go Barrett or Grimes plus, you could go Grimes and Fournier plus pick compensation. That could be an option. So I don't think getting both is that realistic, but I could see them getting one of them. Luis Diesel Maldonado, do you think the Mavs are able to sign Christian Wood on a minimum deal? And if they don't, where do you think he'll end up? Look, I don't think things ended that amicably, but the fact that Christian Wood remains unsigned, if he's willing to come back for the vet minimum, I wouldn't say no. I don't think you can. Producer Coop, he says in my area, he says I would. I don't think you can promise him any kind of real role, but listen, if you dump JaVale McGee, there's still possibly some minutes in that front court available. Vet minimum, like, there would have to be some sort of sit down with him and Jason Kidd and some mutual understanding of what that all looks like. Subscribe to Chat Sports. We cover the NBA offseason for several hours every single day. I mean, we got you covered with live streams, videos on demand, and tons of other coverage as well. So don't miss any of the latest news, rumors, trade buzz, and everything else surrounding the association. All you got to do is subscribe and turn on notifications. I am Jules. Does Tyler Herro at some point request a trade because of all the trade rumors? I don't think he has to request a trade. I think he's getting traded. So the only scenario where he wouldn't maybe get traded and maybe would want to request a trade at that point is if Portland does trade Dame to another team that's not Miami, and then Herro's not involved in it, and maybe Herro says, you know what, I want to request a trade because Miami didn't value me. But I don't think he's going to have to do that because I think he's going to get dealt regardless. Maya's World, do you think the Lakers are going to win the NBA Finals next season? I think they've got a chance, but if you're asking me Lakers or the field, I'm taking the field every time. But in fairness, I would probably take the field for any team. Like Suns of the field, field. Nuggets of the field, field. Warriors of the field, field. I don't think any team is just so far ahead of the other teams where I wouldn't take the field. And look, the NBA is in a great place. I mean, for years, all it was is the Warriors and whoever's LeBron is playing for, right? Like, think of the recent champions we've had. The Milwaukee Bucks. Who would have ever thought that? The Denver Nuggets just won a championship. Yeah, Golden State won it last year, but that was a good story in itself, too, because they hadn't won one in a few years, and, that aging core was able to get back and win one. So the Lakers will be in the mix. I love what they did this offseason, but can't sit here and say they're a clear favorite. Wild Colt, are the Kings likely to pick up another rim protector? That's an interesting thought because obviously they traded Rashawn Holmes, who was out of their rotation. Sabonis isn't really a rim protector. Can I present you JaVale McGee? I don't know. It's a good question. Like Mo Bamba would have been an interesting signing for them, I think, as like a backup center option, but he ended up signing with Philadelphia. JD20, should the Rockets sign Bol? I mean, if Houston signs him, they'll probably overpay because that's what they've done this offseason. I wouldn't mind that, though. They've got a young nucleus with a few veterans now. I do think Bol will land with the team. Not sure who, though. I think he's worth bringing onto a roster, though. From Todd Packer, Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton, and picks for Damian Lillard. That's the best deal. That's a pretty good deal, man. Like, if you're sending Cam Johnson, a high-level 3-and-D starter, Nick Claxton, a great roller and rim protector, a good defender, and, say, 3 first-round picks, you're telling me Miami can offer better, Coop? I don't know. Like, unless you think Nikola Jovic or Jaime Jaquez is a future all-star, which, listen, could be, but kind of know what Cam Johnson is. He's a 20.3 3-and-D scorer. Like, I don't know. Him at $22 million or Jerami Grant at $32 million, who Portland just paid. Much rather have Cam Johnson, if I'm being honest. Sei Anunoby, if you were the Chicago Bulls, who would you sign to help your team to get better with a cap salary that you have right now, who is currently a free agent? I don't know who the Bulls. I mean, I would re-sign Ayo. I would do that. Ayo Dosunmu. If you can get Kelly Oubre, maybe with that $10.2 million disabled exception they're expected to get from the Lonzo situation, Oubre for 1 year, $10 million. I think he helps your bench scoring if you want to bring him off the bench. Those are a couple names that I would bring in. DC Marley, if I'm the 76ers, I'm keeping my eyes on the Jaylen Brown contract situation. If he doesn't sign an extension, he's my number one target next offseason. It would be a perfect situation for both parties. I don't hate that, DC Marley. Now, if the contract extension is on the table for Brown, I'd be shocked if he did not sign it. That would surprise me. But for Philadelphia, I think if you were able to bring him in next to Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid next offseason, I don't expect Harden to be there next year. Maybe he stays there this year. But that's a pretty formidable trio moving forward. And you'd have the cap room to potentially do it because Tobias Harris is coming off your books. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Shout out your favorite team in the comments. Who's your squad? Let us know down below. who your favorite team is here at Chat Sports. We always love hearing the different fans from all over the world.